You ever hear a story so stupid that it sticks in your head for years? That's what the whistling man was for me. A dumb old legend, something kids used to whisper about when we were bored, trying to freak each other out. I never believed it, not until that night behind 14th Street. My name's Ryan Keller. I grew up in a small town in northern Pennsylvania, the kind of place where everyone knows everyone, and nothing ever really happens, except the woods. Everyone had a story about those woods. They stretched for miles behind the high school, thick and quiet, with trails that went nowhere. And in the middle of it all, there was a spot called the Hollow. That's where people said he lived, the whistling man. The story went like this. Back in the 1950s, a guy named Daniel Hurst disappeared while hunting deer out there. Weeks later, people started hearing whistling late at night, the same tune over and over, soft and slow, like a lullaby. Some said it was Daniel. Others said it was something else that found him. The legend said if you ever whistled back, you wouldn't hear the reply until you were alone. It was the kind of story we all laughed at until senior year. It was early October when me, Matt, and Tyler decided to go camping out there. We'd done it before, but never past the power lines. That's where the woods get darker. Even during the day, it feels like the light doesn't reach the ground. But Tyler had this idea that we decamp near the Hollow just to prove it this bullshit, he said. Matt was all in. Me? I just didn't want to be the one who chickened out. We left around 5 p.m., sun starting to dip behind the trees. The air smelled like damp leaves and pine, that earthy kind of cold that tells you fall's really here. We had our backpacks, a small tent, and a 6-pack Tyler borrowed from his dad. It felt like an adventure, the kind you only get once before life gets serious. We reached the Hollow just before dark. It was a small clearing surrounded by trees that looked almost dead. No leaves, just twisted branches. The ground was uneven, full of old roots, like something had been clawing its way out from underneath. There was an old fire pit in the middle, half buried under moss. See? Totally normal, Tyler said, dropping his bag. We set up the tent, got a small fire going, and passed the beers around. The flames flickered against the trees, throwing these long, weird shadows that looked like people standing at the edge of the light. I kept glancing over my shoulder, but there was nothing, just the sound of wind and crickets. Yo, you remember the whistle? Matt said suddenly, grinning. Tyler laughed. What, that dumbass story? Yeah, man. How'd it go again? He puckered his lips and let out a soft, slow tune, 2 notes up, 1 down. It echoed through the trees, then silence. We all froze, waiting. Nothing, not even the wind. Matt chuckled nervously. Guess he's off duty tonight, but the woods didn't feel right after that. The quiet wasn't normal. The fire crackled too loud. Even the crickets had stopped. I told myself it was just my imagination, that we were messing with ourselves. Around midnight, the temperature dropped fast. You could see our breath hanging in the air. We climbed into the tent and zipped it up, laughing about ghost stories, pretending we weren't freaked out. Tyler was already half asleep when it happened. That whistle, soft, distant, 2 notes up, 1 down, we all froze. I looked at Tyler. His eyes were wide open now. Dude, that was you, right? I whispered. He shook his head slowly. No, man. That came from outside. We listened, holding our breath. Then again, a little closer this time, Matt whispered, maybe it's some drunk guy, or like a hunter or something. Who the hell hunts at midnight? I muttered. We waited for the sound again, but it didn't come. Finally, Tyler grabbed the flashlight and said, screw this, I'm checking. I grabbed his arm. Don't, man. It's probably nothing. But he unzipped the tent anyway. Cold air rushed in. He stepped out, shining the light into the trees. I leaned forward, trying to see. The beam cut through the fog, catching on something white, maybe bark, maybe missed. Then it moved. Tyler stumbled back. "There's someone out there." "What?" "Where?" He pointed. "Behind that tree." We all stared. The woods were dead still. Then, faint from deep in the dark, that same whistle came again. But this time, it wasn't distant. It was right behind us. I swear I felt the sound more than I heard it. That low, trembling whistle cut straight through the air, like it came from inside the tent itself. We spun around so fast we nearly tore the fabric open. Close it, close it." Matt hissed, pulling the zipper shut again. Tyler's hands were shaking. "Dude, that was right next to us." I saw something move out there. The flashlight was still in his hand, the beam jittering against the tent walls, casting warped shapes that looked like faces for half a second before melting into nothing. I could hear my own heartbeat, louder than the fire outside. "Maybe it's someone screwing with us," I said, but my voice sounded small, fake. "Like some guys from school." "Who?" Matt shot back. "Who even knew we were coming out here?" He was right. We hadn't told anyone. The whistle came again, softer this time, drawn out. 2 notes up, 1 down, then silence. Tyler snapped. He unzipped the tent again, leapt out with a flashlight, and shouted, "Who the hell's out there? You think this is funny?" His voice vanished into the trees. I scrambled after him before I could even think. The fire was still burning, small and weak now, but the woods beyond it looked endless. "Tyler, stop," I whispered. He swung the light in a slow arc across the tree line. For a second, I thought I saw something, a pale shape between 2 trunks, tall, not moving. But when the light hit it directly, there was nothing. Just bark and fog. Matt stumbled out behind us, barefoot, his face white. "Let's go back, please. We can pack up in the morning, just..." He froze, because the whistling started again. But this time it wasn't just one voice. It came from the left, then the right, then behind us, like the woods themselves were breathing the tune. Overlapping, low and wrong. The pitch kept changing, like whoever, whatever was doing it didn't understand how sound was supposed to work. "Back to the tent," I said, my throat dry. "Now," we ran. When we reached the fire, the tent flap was open, wide open. The flashlight beam trembled as Tyler aimed it inside. Empty. Matt whispered, "We zipped it." "Didn't we?" Nobody answered. Tyler moved closer, crouched, and aimed the light at the ground. That's when we saw the footprints, bare, long, sunk deep into the mud. They started at the tent and led straight into the trees. "Okay," I said, "we're leaving. Now, screw the gear." Tyler looked at me like he was about to argue, but then the flashlight flickered. Once, twice, then it went out. The fire hissed, sparks rising into the dark, and that's when the whistling stopped. No sound at all, not even the wind. I pulled my phone from my pocket, no signal, of course. The screen glowed just enough to light our faces. Matt's lips were trembling. Tyler kept spinning in circles, whispering, "Who's there? Show yourself." Like he could scare it away. I wanted to tell him to shut up, but then I heard it, a crunch, leaves underfoot. Someone was walking. Slow, careful steps, circling us. The 3 of us pressed together like scared kids, eyes darting into the dark. The footsteps stopped just beyond the light. Then something whistled again, not far, not distant, right beside my ear. I jumped so hard I dropped the phone. The light hit the ground, spinning, flashing glimpses of boots. No, not boots. Feet, dirty, pale, bare feet standing inches away from me. I grabbed Matt's arm. "Run!" We took off, crashing through the trees, branches tearing at our clothes. The darkness swallowed everything. I didn't know where the path was, or if there even was one anymore. The whistling followed. Always the same 3 notes, always just behind us. Tyler was ahead of me, flashlight back on somehow, bouncing with every step. Then I saw him trip, fell hard into the leaves. The beam rolled away, lighting his face. He wasn't moving. "Tyler!" I yelled, sliding to my knees beside him. His eyes were open, wide, staring at something over my shoulder. Matt grabbed me. "Ryan." And then I heard it again, only this time it wasn't whistling. It was breathing, slow, heavy, just behind us. We didn't look. We just ran. Branches whipped my face, my lungs burned, but I didn't stop until I saw the faint orange glow of a streetlight through the trees. We stumbled out onto the edge of 14th Street, collapsing onto the cold asphalt, gasping like we'd been underwater for hours. Matt kept saying Tyler's name over and over, but there was no answer. We waited there for 20 minutes before he finally appeared. He just walked out of the woods, calm, silent, no flashlight. "Tyler?" I said, standing up. "Dude, what the hell happened?" He looked at us, or maybe through us. His skin was gray, eyes dull like he hadn't slept in years, and then he smiled. "You shouldn't have whistled back," he said softly. "Tyler didn't come back the same." I could feel it the second he spoke. His voice sounded normal, but the tone was wrong. Like someone trying too hard to sound human. We just stared at him. The streetlight buzzed overhead, making his face flicker in pale yellow light. He stood there in the middle of the road, barefoot, shirt torn, streaks of mud up to his knees. "Where'd you go?" I asked, still out of breath. He shrugged. "I just needed a minute," Matt whispered. "A minute?" "You were gone for over half an hour." Tyler blinked, slow and deliberate, then smiled again. Was I? That smile? It didn't reach his eyes. We decided to head home right then. None of us said a word on the walk back, just the sound of our boots on pavement and the rustle of trees behind us. Every few seconds, I thought I heard a faint whistle on the wind, but I told myself it was just in my head. When we got to my place, we crashed in the basement. My parents were asleep upstairs, and the air smelled like old carpet and detergent. We laid out our sleeping bags, still dirty from the woods, and tried to act like it was just a normal night. But it wasn't. Tyler sat against the wall, staring at nothing. He didn't blink much. His hands twitched like he was listening to something far away. "You okay, man?" I asked. He looked at me, and for a second, I could swear his pupils were huge, almost covering the whole eye. "Yeah, just tired." Matt leaned over. "We should tell someone, the cops maybe, about what we saw." I shook my head. "And say what?" "That some guy was whistling at us in the woods." He didn't argue. We just lay there in the dark, too scared to sleep. Sometime around 3 a.m., I woke up. I didn't know why at first, until I heard it, whistling, soft, low, coming from the corner of the room. Tyler was sitting up, his back to us. The sound was coming from him. The tune was the same, 2 notes up, 1 down, but he wasn't blowing through his lips. It was like the sound was coming from his throat. "Tyler," I whispered. He stopped, slowly turned his head toward me. In the dim light from the basement window, his face didn't look right. His jaw seemed wrong, like it was stretching too far, the muscles twitching beneath the skin. "You shouldn't have whistled back," he said again, voice low and raspy. "He knows your sound now." I froze. "What are you talking about?" "He follows the echo," Tyler murmured. "Once you answer, he learns your breath." Matt sat up fast. "Dude, you're scaring the crap out of us. Stop." But Tyler just tilted his head, listening, not to us, but to something else. And then, from outside, through the basement window, came the same whistle. Faint, distant, almost carried on the wind. 2 notes up, 1 down. Tyler smiled again. I jumped up, grabbed my phone, and ran upstairs. Matt was right behind me. We locked the basement door, hearts pounding. What the hell's happening to him? Matt whispered. I didn't know what to say. My phone still had no signal, like the world had gone silent. We sat there in the hallway until morning light bled through the windows. When I finally got the nerve to go back down, the basement was empty. Tyler was gone, sleeping bag, shoes, everything gone. The small basement window was open, curtain fluttering in the wind. We searched all morning, checked his house, called his parents, even went back to 14th Street. No one had seen him. That night, Matt stayed over again. Neither of us could sleep. Every sound made us jump. The creak of the floorboards, the hum of the fridge. Around 2:30 a.m., my phone buzzed, unknown number. Matt said, "Don't answer it." I stared at the screen. It rang once, twice, then went to voicemail. A minute later, I checked it. Static, low, garbled noise. Then, faintly, someone whistling. The same damn tune. I threw the phone across the room. It hit the wall and cracked. Matt whispered, "We need to leave. Tonight." I nodded. We started packing bags, grabbing anything we could carry. But when I turned back toward the door, I saw something through the living room window, out by the tree line. A figure, still, watching. It was tall, shoulders too narrow, head slightly tilted, like it was listening. "Matt," I said, my voice barely working. He followed my gaze. His face went white. "That's him." The figure lifted a hand slowly, like a wave. Then it raised 2 fingers to its lips. The whistle that followed made the glass rattle. We dropped everything and bolted out the back door, sprinting down the alley behind my house. My legs felt like lead, lungs burning, but I didn't stop until we hit Main Street, where there were lights, people, safety. Or so we thought, because when we looked back, there was no one behind us. No sound, nothing, until my cracked phone buzzed again in my pocket. Another voicemail. Just one whisper, this time. You shouldn't have whistled back. We didn't sleep for 2 days after that. Every sound made me jump. The hum of the fridge, a dog barking down the street, even the wind whistling through the trees. It all sounded the same 3 notes. Matt crashed at my place again, both of us too scared to go home. We tried to tell people what happened, but what were we supposed to say? A ghost whistled at us in the woods. Everyone would have laughed. The cops already thought Tyler had just run off. But he didn't run off, I knew it. By the 3rd night, we couldn't take it anymore. We had to go back. Not because we were brave, but because we couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, couldn't do anything until we knew what we'd heard. So around midnight, we grabbed flashlights and headed back to 14th Street. The sky was moonless, black as pitch, the air thick with fog that smelled like wet earth. When we stepped past the tree line, the night swallowed the town behind us. "Let's just look for his stuff," I said quietly. "Grab whatever's left and go." Matt nodded, gripping the flashlight so tight his knuckles were white. The woods were dead silent, not a single cricket, not even the wind. We followed the old trail toward the hollow. Every few steps, I caught glimpses of something white ahead. Maybe fog, maybe mist, maybe nothing. The deeper we went, the colder it got. My breath came out in long clouds. Then we found it. The tent was still there, half collapsed, soaked from rain. Tyler's backpack lay open beside it, the zipper ripped clean off. Inside were his phone, his keys, a crumpled map, and something else. A tape recorder, the kind old hunters use. It was still running. The battery light glowed red. Matt looked at me. "Play it," I hit rewind. The tape whirred softly, then clicked. Static. Then footsteps. Then Tyler's voice. Testing. Okay. It's 2:14 a.m. I can hear him again. I'm gonna follow the sound, then the whistle. Soft, distant, the same 3 notes. Tyler whispered, "He's close." "I think I see him." The tape crackled. Then silence, no scream, no struggle. Just something breathing, long and slow. Then faintly, a second whistle, but this time it wasn't the same. It sounded like Tyler. Matt stepped back. "We need to go," but I couldn't move. My hands were ice. Because now I could hear something else, not from the recorder, but from the trees behind us, whistling. Exactly the same tune. 2 notes up, 1 down. We turned, flashlights trembling. The beam cut through fog and shadows, and there he was. Tyler, standing just a few feet away. Barefoot, clothes soaked, eyes black and glassy. He didn't blink. He just tilted his head, lips parting like he was about to say something. "Tyler?" I whispered. He smiled, but it wasn't really a smile. It stretched too far, like the skin of his face was being pulled from underneath. His neck twitched, jaw locking open, and from deep inside his throat came that awful sound. The whistle, louder now, echoing through the trees. Matt screamed and bolted. I ran after him, the beam from his flashlight slicing through the darkness ahead. The whistling followed us, chasing from every direction, bouncing off the trunks like the forest itself was singing. We broke through the trees and stumbled back onto 14th Street, gasping. The world suddenly looked normal again. Streetlights, silence, the faraway hum of cars. Matt dropped to his knees. "He's dead, Ryan. He's dead." But I didn't answer, because I could still hear it, faint, somewhere far behind us, the same tune fading slowly into the night. We didn't talk much after that. A week later, Matt moved to his uncle's place in Ohio. Said he couldn't sleep anymore, couldn't stand the sound of wind. I stayed. I don't know why. Maybe because part of me still needed to believe there was a reason, something that could be explained. 2 nights ago, I got my answer. There was a knock at the door just after midnight. When I opened it, no one was there. Just an envelope sitting on the porch. No name, no address. Inside was a single photograph. It was black and white, old, 1950s, maybe. A group of men in hunting gear, smiling beside a deer carcass. One of them had his head turned toward the camera, blurry, mid-laugh. But in the background, barely visible among the trees, there was another figure. Tall, thin, no face, just a mouth. And underneath the photo, written in faded pencil, "He listens for the ones who answer." That night, I packed a bag. I told myself I was leaving town in the morning. But as I sit here writing this, I can hear something outside my window. It's soft at first, carried on the wind, 2 notes up, 1 down. And then the quiet. It's 3:12 a.m. right now. If you ever find yourself on 14th Street, don't whistle back.